So today we're going to try a Let's Translate on this site, Italia IT, which may come up in English when you first go to it. So just click on the little button up here and change it to Italiano. This article is about historic cafes in Florence. Una pausa relax. An English word again. A relaxing pause, stop for a cafe or an aperitif in places rich with fascination. I think that's probably fascination, with lots of interesting things about them. From whose tables have passed into history. So basically, a lot of interesting things have happened in these cafes, and they are legend now. To know Florence, attraverso I suoi palazzi, so cross its, through it, no, so yeah, atravesar is to cross through something, but I think this just means by means of. Its buildings, its monuments and its museums is certainly an efficient way to discover, there's il fascino again, maybe it's something more to do with the face, to discover the face of the, I think Medicea is Medici, so the Medici city, that have remained intact over the course of centuries. Visiting its historic cafes however, is the equivalent of stealing part of the soul and of the history. I don't think that literally means stealing, robbing. I think it's kind of experiencing the true soul of the city and its story. One will discover in this way that the fortune of some of the ways, the roads and the squares, the most famous squares in Florence, is really linked to these important meeting places. This is the case of the Piazza della Repubblica, one of the prettiest, most beautiful squares in Florence. Contrary to that which one could think, so contrary to what you might believe, its fame doesn't come from its architecture and from its famous arch. I assume that's an arch, but from the literary cafes that make I don't know what da cornice is. Well, those are the arches there, presumably. Okay, we'll gloss over that. Anyway, it's talking about the Caffè Gilli e il Caffè Paczkowski, which is obviously not an Italian word. Tutti e due, so both of them in different ways join in one of the biggest cultural phenomena of the 20th century, futurism, an artistic literary movement insegna. Is that something to be taught? I mean, it's saying that it's a modern myth, but I'm not quite sure what al insegna means there. Strength, speed, and pretense is kind of strength again. Potential, maybe more. As incarnations of technology and of progress. I don't know anything about futurism to know exactly what this means, but obviously it was a very important place during that time. Okay, let's just look at the Caffè Concerto Paczkowski. Oh, there's the arch. That must be the one that it was talking about. The Cafe Concerto Paczkowski, born in the distant 1846 as I imagine that's a beer house, a pub in effect, but soon became a cafe concerto. So does that mean a cafe where people performed? Let's read a bit further. Where the famous Paczkowski band exhibited, performed maybe, and one, rare for the time, female orchestra. So yes, it was a music cafe then, named after a famous band called Paczkowski. But they weren't the only ones that performed there. Okay. Also, this cafe, beer house, soon became a meeting place for protagonists of literature and art. So, artists and writers of I don't know why that just says 900. Maybe that's a way of saying the 19th century. Or maybe it has some other significance of which I'm completely oblivious. In the first, after the war, so just after the war, its vocation, its musical vocation, so preferences, changed decisively towards cabaret. So it became a cabaret venue rather than just a music venue. Even today, this old musical tradition is well represented by the artists that perform there. Svolgere is one of those verbs I keep forgetting what it means. I think basically that first bit is saying it's still fashionable, while its tea rooms represent an obligatory venue for foreigners who want to Concedersi una sosta. Maybe that's to have a break, have a rest. It could be something completely different. From 1991, it was declared to be a national monument. Okay, so there's a bit of vocabulary to look up there and put alongside when I create the video. I'll leave a link in the description. But I think this is quite a good site for small little articles that aren't too difficult to work out what they're talking about and give you a little bit of information about Italy. Until next time.